Liam, Lamar, we're back. It's NBA playoffs. Jax, you're hiding. Jax. There he is. He's with us too. Hey guys, what do you think of these playoffs so far?
I'm having a great time so far. Well, I can't wait to get into it. And yeah.
Jax, I see you nodding.
He's a basketball guy. He's a basketball guy.
Yeah. Lamar.
It's pretty good. I'm enjoying myself watching, kicking back every night, watching the games, watching the commentary. It's pretty good games, especially for the first round.
We're going to get into some of that commentary in a minute too, because there's good stuff been going on all day today.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. It's the EDF SPORTS PODCAST. It's been a while, but we are back with NBA playoffs in full swing. Some of it's going great. Some of it for some of us, I know for me, it sucks so far. Great last game for the Nuggets. I was happy they at least get one, and even more happy at the fact that Golden State played well. Because I would have hated to hear, yeah, you got one because Curry went 1 for 12 and Thompson went 2 for 13. You know what I mean? So we got one good win, and I'm happy with that. But there's been a lot of stuff going on, man. These playoffs have been pretty spectacular, really. Right now, the Hawks are losing to the Heat. I think by 10 the last time I looked over there. I'm not sure right now.
4 right now. Looks like about 4.
Really? Man, so that quick they came back. That's good. Well, with Trae Young, you never know though, right? But I still think they're going to pull this out today. What have you guys thought about that series at all, Liam?
So Trae Young he's a star, but he's not a superstar, and I don't think he ever will be. I don't think he ever will be a superstar. Here's my premise. He can put together all the numbers that he wants to. He led college in scoring and assists in the same season, only person ever to do it. He led this year in the NBA in total points and total assists, not per game numbers, but just total across both stats combined in the total across like both stats in the NBA for everybody. But I think we saw last year, the magical run they went on, they should have beat the Knicks. They were better than the Knicks, but beating the Sixers and even getting 2 games away from the Bucks, including Game 1 in Milwaukee. That might be the furthest that they ever get is 2 wins in a conference finals in the Trae Young era. I don't know what kind of star that you put around them that they don't draft. Like, it's not Bogdanovich, it's not DeAndre Hunter. It's not Danilo Gallinari. It's not Clint Capella. It's not John Collins. I don't see Travis Schlenk, who, by the way, is a great team-building GM for the pieces that he's acquired in the draft. I don't see him going out and acquiring a superstar or B or A- level star to put next to Trae Young. And quite frankly, I don't know what kind of guy you do put next to Trae Young unless you're putting Joel Embiid next to him. What kind of fit works with Trae Young? There's not many. There's not many perfect ideal fits for Trae Young unless it's a willing shooter like a Klay Thompson, I guess. But you're never going to get a Klay Thompson to Atlanta. So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to say, Lamar, are you buying this?
Yeah, I kind of agree. His style of play is. It's playoff time, man. You can't be shooting all these half-court threes all the time, especially when they ain't going in. Like I saw the stat line when the game first started, he's already 1 for 6 and 0 for 3 from 3. You want to play play the way you play, but you gotta when is enough is enough, man. These playoffs, man. You gotta be smarter.
I remember there was a time when you used to get set down on the bench for pulling up those threes.
Yeah.
Those kind of, you miss one of those and you wouldn't see the game for a while, but now the game's just a whole different game now. And his style is what it is. And I guess I could see what you guys are saying a little bit, but so you think then you think he's that kind of guy who has to be part of a trio, part of one of those kind of deals?
I don't think that he can be your best player on a championship team. I didn't think Isaiah Thomas could be the best player on a Celtics championship team when he was 3rd in MVP voting at 5'9". I'll give Trae 5'11", but You say at some point, they used to get benched for shots like that. I think we can all agree. The only people who have really, who should have the leniency to shoot those shots because they hit them enough is Steph and Dame. It's not Trae Young. He just does it because he can and hits them every now and so often. He doesn't have like a deadly marksmanship from 35 feet like the other guys have.
Yeah.
So I don't see them ever really advancing in the playoffs without a perfect consummate of teammates around him. And I don't know how you get the perfect consummate of teammates around him without a dominant center. And
you
how
don't
many
like the Gallinari, huh?
Yeah.
You're not like on Gallinari and Bogdanovic, and that's not your style, huh?
They're perfectly fine role players, but who's the second best player on that team, Paul? Bogdanovic?
I think so. That's what I
So you somehow won 2 games in an Eastern Conference Final with those two as your best 2 players. I don't think it's ever happening again. I don't think it's ever happening.
For the Heat,
they were lucky to get into the playoffs. If we didn't have this play-in tournament, which, by the way, I really like the play-in tournament. If we didn't have the play-in tournament, they wouldn't be in the playoffs this year. They were the 9 seed. Like, they literally wouldn't have made the playoffs.
That's true. So, like, this was pretty much known, right? The Heat were going to do this. The Heat were going to take this and make –
not a doubt.
And also, you're right. So what do they do then, Lamar? Is this it for this Heat or this Hawks team? Do they now have to do like a mini revamp in a way?
I think they'd be a constant playoff team between the 5 and 8 seed, but don't get bounced out. I mean, I just don't see how they can get another big name in there, but I don't see how they can do it. I mean, they thought John Collins was the guy, but
does anybody want to go to the ATL?
I don't think so right now.
If you're gonna play porous defense, and then also like get locked up by other teams' good defenses, like where are you ever going to advance? Like I know that they beat the Sixers last year in 7 games. They were lucky to do so because Ben Simmons really had his pulse on Trae Young defensively in that series. It was Ben Simmons offensively and the rest of the sum of the parts coming together that allowed Atlanta to win. Trae Young was not the deciding factor in that Atlanta and Philadelphia series. So I think it's been proven, and Miami obviously has a good stifling defense. If you key in on him, he's really not able to do too much. And if your second best player is Bogdanovic, then you're going to lose in 5 games in the first round to a team that plays really good defense and to a team that you can't defend.
Right.
I think they depend too much on jump shots. They ain't got no inside presence. They don't get the ball to John Collins enough, and I think they need to. I think they need to find like another big guard that can handle the ball and let Trae Young run around screens and stuff like that. So you don't have to have the ball in his hands all the time. Let him play off the ball some.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see that what they have is a okay team, but it isn't what they're going to want, and it isn't going to get them what they want. So I could see them trying to do something big in the offseason. But again, you got to find the person who wants to go to the ATL. And I get it's a lot of fun, but also all the married ones, they're not going to want to go to the ATL. So you have that problem. And believe me, the last time that they tried to covet a free agent, I'm trying to remember who it was, that was the deciding factor. His wife was like, we're not going there. You're not going to Atlanta. And I'll try to figure out who that was. But next, right now is Memphis and Minnesota. Did this surprise anybody? Because I know it didn't surprise me. I knew that Minnesota could play. You watched them come in. They have I don't want to say they have this team that could do something, but man, they can sure upset somebody. And Memphis coming in for the first time with this group, coming in as a 2 seed, all that hype, all that. I mean, it just seemed like it was a fit for what's happening right now. Did it surprise anybody else?
Yes. It surprised. I thought Minnesota would get one. I thought it'd be four. I thought the Grizzlies in 5, and I thought that one would kind of be like a piecemeal. Like, Minnesota's a scrappy team that they just had a better game than Memphis. What I didn't expect was that, like, and I guess I should have thought about it this way, but on any given night, on D'Angelo Russell's good nights, they're spattered about. But on any given night, the Wolves have 3 of the 4 best players in this entire series. I know that Desmond Bane should have been in most improved player conversation, which, by the way, Ja Morant won. But yeah. I think Desmond, and by the way, we can have a discussion on most improved player later. It's a really interesting award, the way that they go about voting for it. But Desmond Bane should have been more in that conversation than Ja Morant, and so should have Jordan Poole and the Tyrese Maxeys of the world. And I'm okay with Darius Garland, but like not a Ja Morant. Ja Morant was not the most improved player because he took the step from star to superstar. Like that's not what the award should be. But on any given night, the Wolves should have 3 of the 4 best players in this series. We just rely on Memphis's coaching and depth and scheme. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, Memphis, they'll win. They have the experience. They don't have the experience factor. Actually, they're pretty much the exact same as far as experience is concerned. So that kind of just, they're both young, gunning, hungry teams. And right now, the Wolves have just out-executed the Grizzlies. Ja Morant has not had the greatest series. If anything, this is game 5 right now, and they're tied 2-2. It should be 3-1 Minnesota if they didn't have that epic collapse in – was it game 2?
Yeah.
So
100%.
Or game 2 or 3, whatever game it was. But so it definitely surprises me because I didn't think Minnesota was going to hang around this way. And needless to say, I would really, really appreciate if Memphis came back, and because Memphis, whoever loses this series is going to learn from this going forward. It's good for the team that loses this as a learning experience because both teams are young. But we all know that the Warriors would probably sweep Minnesota. I would love. We all want to see Warriors Grizzlies. We don't want to see Warriors Wolves. So please, Memphis, come on, Memphis, please.
Lamar, did it surprise you at all?
It surprised me a little bit. Like Liam, I thought they was gonna get maybe one game, but I mean they got Anthony Edwards. Timberwolves got Anthony Edwards playing well, and they can get Cat playing the way he needs to play and should be playing, like he did last game. They can pull off an upset. I mean, they up by I think 2 right now. And
I like Beverly too.
I mean, Beverly plays well, but Beverly plays well. He plays well, but I mean, he shouldn't be running pick and roll in the 4th quarter.
No. When he stays within his game, then he can help a team, and he showed that so far. Especially because some of his antics people think are over the top, and I get that. But they also help his team sometimes. And if you get the right players again, and it seems like he found that. And not only that, like what was it? Was it game 1 when he just kept posting up clearing everybody out and posting them? I mean, he has that ability to irritate somebody to a point.
Yeah, but I would tell you, if I'm the Memphis, if that's Memphis, that's what I want. Go ahead and post them up.
Yeah, I mean, except for he was hitting it that day.
Yeah, the same. I could say the same thing about what happened with the Nets. Bruce Brown got 26 points, but Durant got 16. Okay, if you're going to beat me with Bruce Brown, you're going to beat me with Beverly posting up, then go ahead. I'll tip my cap to you. But
exactly. I'm going to say something else too, though. I feel as though the reason why I wasn't surprised at all is because all season I've been saying, watch Ja Morant. And every time I've watched him this year, he'll go down and he'll make some spectacular play, and then he's late back on defense. If he goes down and makes a play and tries to make a play and he misses the ball, the play, it misses the shot or he gets knocked down, and he never recovers on the play then. And to me, when you do that in a regular season, you can get away with it. But in the playoffs, you can't get away with that stuff. You have to play hard all the time. You can't lay off. And I think somewhere in there, he got the feeling as though he could do that and they could just recover. They had the team to do it. He could do that. Well, I hope he's learning by watching right now. You have to play all the time. And I just don't feel that he does, which brings me to that most improved that you were talking about too, to giving him that most improved award. I'm with you. It's almost like, what did we bring that to? What is that award? Because I mean, you made a lot of good points. As much as I hate to say this, oh God, but Jordan Poole probably is the most improved player. Am I not?
Absolutely. Like I wouldn't give it to Tyrese Maxey. I'm a Sixers fan, but like that.
Yeah. Oh, I like him though.
3 names on the list should have been Poole, Maxey, and Bane or Darius Garland. Do you guys remember when Steph won back-to-back MVPs and his 2015 season, or if I'm remembering, whatever, his second MVP season was like a lot better than his first MVP season numbers wise. Like it was 6 more points, it was more assists, it was numbers higher across the board. Mm-hmm. And he was like a top finisher for most improved player that year too. He was an MVP to MVP, and he was a finalist for most improved player.
Yeah.
Like the award is so weird. Like it's not supposed to be for stars or superstars. It's supposed to be for like, you know, the younger dudes who took that leap, or maybe even an older dude who took a leap. Like you could almost argue DeMar DeRozan was most improved player this year, but like no, he wouldn't find himself anywhere on the list because you're not supposed to have stars on the list. Like it makes sense why DeMar DeRozan isn't there. So I think the award is a really weird award, but like that aside, like, you know, Jordan Poole is the most improved player. That's not it for me. That's not.
Somewhere Steph told him how to sell his soul, and he went ahead and pulled that trigger too, because that's the only way you shoot that way. You had to give your soul up to the devil, man. You had to, because you don't hit the shots they hit. Like it's so bizarre. Like they're incredible, man. Sometimes watching them, you watch Steph warm up the other day, you know, before that game, and Kerr is throwing him those balls at the 3 line, and he's literally not even catching it. He's just grab and shoot. You know, as fast as it hits his hands, he shoots it, and he made every one of them. It's like those are stuff that we just never seen before, you know. And Poole is following right behind that. I mean, you watch that every day in practice. You go against it every day in practice. You're going to pick that up, you know, if you're smart enough, you know. And it seems like he's done that. And so I agree. As much as I hate to say it, you almost had to give it to him. So I don't know how he got that anyway. But Lamar, how do you feel about it though? Do you think Ja deserved that, or do you see what I see in him on defense?
I think it should have been Poole or Bane. All these awards I don't even pay attention to no more. It's all a joke to me. Every single one of them. I don't know what they go by or what their criteria is for these awards anymore.
Who's your MVP, Lamar? Say Joel Embiid.
My MVP? Yeah, I'd probably go with Embiid.
Yes. Yes, that's 2-1. Get out of here, Paul.
Oh, man. What are you basing that off of?
Not being a 6 seed.
Yeah, that's part of it, too, because I heard a lot of people get mad. A lot of players got lower seeds. They said they couldn't be a playoff team with lower seed. And I was listening to Antonio Daniels or Eddie Johnson on Antonio Daniels, Sirius XM radio. They're trying to say like the Nuggets got a bad team besides Jokic. Really, they got some other good players. I know Jamal Murray ain't there, but he ain't been there all season.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way, but I just
look. They both had to navigate situations without their second or second and third best players. Just the narratives were different. Jokic is back. Jokic is, you know, taking a team diminished of his second and third best player due to injury. Joel Embiid is navigating a really, really awkward team chemistry, potentially destroying situation with Ben Simmons. So
really?
so they're both walking separate lines as far as that's concerned. And sure, Jokic might have better advanced stats. Oh, Jokic is Raptor and Jokic is Vorp. Oh my God, he's the most efficient player that ever played the game of basketball. Shut up! Like my eyes tell me what my eyes tell me. And also,
see, I should be keeping score right now. What you guys have been saying, I mean, Joker's adding up here.
Right? So Joel Embiid's the MVP. I just have to stick it to you, Paul, because you're about to have a back-to-back MVP sham of a back-to-back MVP.
Well, I mean, the NBA is kind of shamless, so I'll take it. I'll take
Fine.
it. I'll take it and be happy. While we're on the subject of these, what did you think of the Rookie of the Year? Do you think Barnes deserved that?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yeah, he deserved it.
There was nobody else who could have been there?
I mean, Cade or Mobley. I wouldn't.
I like Mobley.
Cade. I think Cade to me looks like he's gonna be the best player from this draft, which obviously isn't a surprise. He's the #1 pick. He has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. That's what he looks like to me. Him or Mobley, I think, will be the two best players from this draft. But that doesn't mean they had the best rookie seasons. Mobley missed a lot of time. Cade Cunningham was really inconsistent. And you know what Scotty Barnes did? Scotty Barnes was a starter and a key cog in a team that made the playoffs as a 5 seed and is now pushing the Sixers to the point of historical comeback sort of territory.
Yeah.
Not that he's been the big player in this series particularly, but it's just like the fact that he's contributing to a championship team I'm sorry, not a championship, a playoff team at this point.
Right.
Cade Cunningham couldn't have thought about that. They had 20-something wins. I mean, if you guys remember back to our NBA draft pod from 2021 draft, and we all kind of thought that, it was a given that Suggs would go 4 to Toronto, and Paul, your Orlando Magic would end up with a Scotty Barnes or a Kuminga or something like that. Yeah. And they kind of shocked everyone by taking Barnes at 4 instead, leaving the Magic to take Suggs. If Jalen Suggs was on the Raptors, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. Not only would they not be here against the Sixers, they wouldn't be in the playoffs at all. That's how good Scotty Barnes has been. He deserved the award.
And I'll be the first to admit I was not high on Barnes. Remember, I did not want him to go to the Magic. I thought that coming off the bench at Florida State, how do you come in that high? Man, he's purely showing he definitely has the skills. Going back to Mobley though, I like Mobley. I think he plays like a veteran. He just came in. He's steady. He never over does anything. He doesn't freak out. Like, he could play that defense. When you come in and play defense like that as a rookie, to me, I think Barnes deserved it, and Barnes should have got it because of what you said. He started for a team. He was a big contributor to that team that's now in the playoffs and all that. But I did like Mobley as well. Lamar, anybody that you thought got jived, or was it right?
I think it was right. I think what hurt Cade Cunningham, he missed all the training camp with that injury. So I think if he would have had a full training camp, he definitely would have had a much better season. Probably would have won the award outright. But Scotty Barnes played well and helped the team get to the playoffs. So yeah, he deserved it.
I think we need to throw some respect on Franz Wagner's name too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he proved to be way more than I ever thought when they drafted him. In fact, he was the better rookie by far that they got. And what was he? Four picks later than Suggs? Was it 4 and 8? I believe.
I think he was 8. Yeah.
So that was a gem find, and I'll tell you right now, I know they were planning on slightly building the team around him. They love him that much, where they think that he's only going to get better than what he was, and that they got something there. So they're kind of building around that, and they are one of the most secretive teams that I've ever been around or seen. Like, they do not say anything. So you really don't know what they're doing. But I know in my heart, from all the things they've said and all that I know, they're going to make some moves this summer. And who stays, who goes, what next. But I know that it's going to revolve a lot around Franz. So that was a great pickup and for the Magic. Are we missing an award right now? What did we say?
We still don't have MVP. We can talk about Defensive Player of the Year award.
Oh, there you go. Mr. Smart. Was that a good one, Lamar? Was that right?
I liked it. I mean, I got tired of seeing going to Gobert every year, and he get exposed in the playoffs every year.
Like now?
Yeah, every year he's getting exposed.
Luka is killing him. Luka is killing him. That move yesterday under the basket was just pure.
It was amazing. It was awesome.
It was pure everything. I mean, he had Gobert. That was, oh my God. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to see it go to him no more. And I would have also, again, I hate to say this stuff, but Mr. Embiid probably should have been up there on that thing because he does take care of that middle, and his help defense is one of the reasons why I think Philly is where they are and who they are. But so I think he should have been in the conversation. But I don't have no problem with Smart. That Boston defense. Let's talk about that Boston Nets, because that Boston defense is going to be trouble for anybody down the line, and including in the West. They just totally dominated. They shut down. Even when KD gets what did he have last night? 39 points.
Yeah.
But what did he
31
do?
shots.
Right, but but it was those key moments when they need that bucket, and Tatum is there shutting him down. You know, and I'm going to say this too: Jaylen Brown was a much better defender in this series than he's ever given credit for too. He's always talked about as being a good second scorer, good second behind Tatum, whatever. But he showed he had some defense in this as well. And with Smart, Tatum, and Brown all playing that way on defense, that's a hard team to beat.
You can't forget about Robert Williams either. He actually might be their most versatile defender. He's the key thing in Ime Udoka's machination of defensive schemes, because he can like literally be everywhere in one play. It's pretty incredible if you just spend like one quarter just like watching Robert Williams specifically on defense. It's really interesting how Udoka has him move around.
And how scary is that, though? How scary is that the fact that he hasn't been there and they've been playing that good?
They're my least favorite team, as you know. They're my least favorite team in the NBA. I was cheering for them. I've never cheered for them in my life. I was cheering for them hardcore against the Nets. The sweep was beautiful. Think about this, though. I just real quickly before I keep on going with my point. Udoka was on that Nets bench last year. If you just switch the coaches, or not even switch the coaches, if Udoka was the coach of the Nets, do you think, one, they lose to the Celtics in this round, or two, that they're like not incredible favorites to win the title, not just in the sports books, but like in all of our minds? If Udoka was the Nets coach, we would be on serious notice for a long, long time, especially if Ben Simmons comes back healthy the way that Udoka could have used him. But,
which brings me to this, though. When you say that, why is Nash not on a hot seat?
I'm sure he will be, but if he's gonna get KD's ringing,
that's it. Will be. I mean, you got Kyrie Irving talking about me and KD and the GM and the owner. We're gonna fix this, and we're gonna, where is this?
One of the most delusional stars, one of the most delusional players, and I've ever seen in any sport.
It's unreal. I mean, the guy is so far out there, but at the same time, does he have some truth to that? And so we know that him, KD, and Nash are buddies. They like Nash. And to me, I feel they like him because they get to do what they want to do. And Nash kind of goes with the flow and tries to do what he can. But I've not seen enough from Nash to say he's going to be a good coach or he's going to be able to lead this team. He's not. And yet they keep saying that because those stars like him. And I'm saying he needs to be on that hot seat, because what you said a minute ago, you were right. If he's on that bench instead of Nash, it's a different game. It's a different series. One instance, Lamar, would you not have played LaMarcus Aldridge at all?
Oh, he would have played. Definitely would have been in there.
I mean, he had success against the Celtics all year.
Yeah, needed some size. Needed some size in the middle, and a guy he could hit the mid-range jumper. He can even hit occasional three every now and then. So I don't understand why he wasn't playing. But he got that Mike D'Antoni mindset where I don't need no big man.
Yeah, he sat there on that bench, healthy, not on the injury report at all in any of the games, and didn't see 1 minute.
Yeah, Blake Griffin didn't start playing till towards the end.
True that too. Yeah, what did you go get all these guys for? They're not because they're spectacular. They're all 90 years old. But you went and got them because they provide you with a specialty that you could use, and then you set them on the bench. Didn't even try anything else.
Yeah.
What they use? I think 8 guys total.
Yeah, 8, 9.
When you have that, yeah, when you have that talent, though, come on. Liam, no?
Hey, I'm not going to complain about it, but it was surely interesting because it was the worst that Kevin Durant's ever looked in his career. And
sure.
aside from game one, it was pretty poor Kyrie performance too. This Celtics team should have everyone on high alert. I can't stand the Boston Celtics, but they should be the favorites to come out of the East. I think they should be favored over Milwaukee. I might pick Milwaukee to win the series, but I think they should be favored over Milwaukee. And I think that if they play anybody but a fully healthy Phoenix Suns in the finals, that they should be favored. I think they should be favored over the Warriors. I think they would clearly be favored over like a Grizzlies, definitely favored over a Sixers, and they should be favored over a Miami. So anybody that they play, except for maybe a fully healthy Suns, and we'll see what they do.
What you doing back there?
He's just licking a couch. He's a couch licker. Come on, let him be. But if Middleton's not healthy, I'm not. How many people are picking the Bucks to win that series? Giannis will not sit down the way that Kevin Durant did against this Boston defense.
No, he'll go 48, 50, whatever.
But if Middleton's not there, I don't know if the rest of the horses, if Boston has them, if Milwaukee has them to really win that series with the way that Boston can key in on the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
So
and Boston, I'm gonna go over what
to win this championship.
Yeah, and I'm going over what you said. I'm going over what you said though. They could beat the Suns healthy or not. I mean, I'm not a Boston fan either by any stretch of the imagination. But what I saw with that defense and that offense kicking like they did, that's just trouble for anybody. They have enough defenders. I mean, I was in my whole mind, I forgot about Williams, honestly. And I'm looking at that defense going, man, that's a killer defense. Look at the way that every guy on there can play. And then you threw that out and it hit my head again. I'm like, oh my God, that's a solidifier. He comes back and that's going to be hard to beat, man. Who else do we have? Let's see. What team is that out there? Oh, it's the Sixers, right? That's right. Philadelphia playing somebody. Who are they playing? Is it Toronto? That's right. Lamar, before I turn this over, what do you think of that series, Lamar?
Pretty interesting now.
Is it surprising you at all, though?
Yeah, I thought the Sixers was going to wrap this up last night, but, that Embiid's thumb injury, and I don't have no idea what James Harden is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, geez, I wondered, like anybody didn't know James Harden was going to get to the playoffs and jack a team up, right? I mean, who would have thought that?
I don't know.
It blows your mind.
I think the changing of these rules hurt his game. He didn't get to the free throw line like he used to, getting all them cheap foul calls.
100%.
Yeah, and he dribbles too much on offense, way too much.
Mm-hmm.
He be at the he get the ball at the 3-point line, and he go all the way back to the half court to restart the offense.
Mm-hmm. And then by the time anybody gets it, there's 5 seconds left. Now what do you do? You can't get an offense running through that. I mean, a whole thingy. But Liam, explain to us what happened to the Sixers, please.
Yeah, Paul, real quick. This thing on my hat here and I'm on my shirt. What is that?
That's an eagle.
Yeah, an eagle. It's a real thing. It's a bird. It's a great bird. What is a Sixers? Sixers aren't even a real thing. Eagles are a real thing, and we got a big NFL draft this week with a GM who notoriously makes amazing draft selections. Obviously, so morale's high in this city. Clearly, as far as the Sixers are concerned, It's very rare that you're up 3-2 in a series and don't feel good about it. Like it's very rare that happens. I'll even take it back to recent memory. In the bubble, when the Nuggets came back on both the Jazz and the Clippers, right? So it was 3-1, and you lose that game 5, I guess it would be, to make it 3-2. Are the Jazz and the Clippers like sweating it at that point? No, they don't. They don't think the Nuggets are winning the next 2 games. They just ended up doing it. Like there's real palpable sense that the Raptors could win these next 2 games and pull off the 4-game upset that's never happened in NBA history. I don't think it will happen. I'm going to stick on the side of history, and I'm going to stick on the side of Joel Embiid's the best player in the series, and he just has to have one really dominant game in order to figure this out.
Okay.
But it's a scary, scary place that we're in because the Raptors have the better coach. Doc Rivers had a really good games 1 and 2, a really, really good games 1 and 2. But the Raptors have the better coach. The Raptors are more athletic. The Raptors play better defense, and the Raptors will always play harder. Throughout my whole time watching the Sixers, be it the Brett Brown era or the Doc Rivers era, even when Joel Embiid was hurt and we were winning 10 games, like we were a scrappy 10-win team, but like we never have ever had this sense of urgency that both young teams that we should have grown up having, we never had it then, and we don't have it now, especially when we can put our foots down on someone's throat. I'll compare it to Boston. I know that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving aren't on the other side of the court from the Sixers, but do you think Boston would have been okay dropping a game, dropping game 4 or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, we can, close it out game 5 in our home court? I'm sure they would have been okay with it, but they, were like, nah, let's just go close it out. We're going to go sweep it. We're not going to let off the gas. The Sixers literally let off the gas. They're expecting the Raptors to die. The Raptors won't die. That's not what a Nick Nurse team does. That's not what this team is made of. That's not what this team is made of. So yesterday, the crowd was so hyped. They just wanted the Sixers to do anything to get back in it, and they just couldn't. They got their asses kicked. And if it wasn't for Precious Achiuwa missing 2 free throws at the end of Game 3 regulation and an Embiid miracle shot at the end of overtime that would have gone to double overtime, the Raptors should be up 3-2 going home for Game 6 with a chance to close it out on their home court. We're lucky due to a Joel Embiid clutch shot, which, by the way, Joel Embiid's not clutch. He does never, ever hit those shots. That's the only time he's ever hit that shot.
That was a damn good shot. Damn good time to bring it out.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we're up 3-2 right now. We should be down 3-2 going on the road to lose this series.
And see, check it before this. People forgot about. Toronto has so much length. All their guys have that wingspan. They can all cause havoc on defense. And to me, that was going to be the key to this. Is that Philadelphia is probably a better team, but the matchup wasn't great.
No, it's bad.
So,
it's a bad matchup.
So when you had that going, and then you get a chance where there are times when that Toronto team can catch fire too on offense, and you combine that together with that and the bad matchup and all that, man, it's like that one series I was talking about. It's almost like a setup. It's a setup for just a destruction because all that stuff put together. And I'm going to throw in the history of Philadelphia and Doc. I mean, you put all that in there. Like right now, what's going through Doc's head? Okay, because he's been here how many times? I don't know how many times. And how many times have the Sixers been here over the last 10 years alone? So that has to enter your head. It has to. And for the sake of the Philadelphia team right now, I almost hope they do win the next game and win the series, because maybe that'll exercise some of those demons that are still sitting there. Because if they lose the next game, those demons may come in and take over. So
I can't imagine a Game 7 at home after we were up 3-0 in the series. It would be worse. It would be worse tension than that Atlanta series was last year, and we should have had Atlanta closed out in 5 games just like this series. We gave up big leads in games 4 and 5 when we were up 2-1. So after 3, so the Sixers have this in them. It's obviously in Doc's history. It's in the Sixers' history. This is the best version of Joel Embiid we've ever seen, torn ligament in his thumb or not. And he's the best player in the series. And it's not that he's just the best player in the series. He's far and away the best player in the series. It's not close. Nobody on the Raptors, it pales in comparison to Joel Embiid, no matter how good of a season that Pascal Siakam's had. So the Sixers need to close it out because this is Joel Embiid's legacy to this point.
Lamar?
Yeah, they need to close this out tomorrow. You don't want to play no game 7.
Thursday.
I was always in the mindset you go up 3-0, either get the sweep. If they don't get the sweep, you got to win that game 5 at home. You don't want to go back to
No,
on the road and play a game 6 because then they pumped up, they got some momentum, the crowd is into it, and they got to get this done.
And all you have to do is win that one and get to game 7.
With that one, and anything can happen in the game 7. Foul trouble, roll an ankle.
Yep, that thumb gets hurt even more.
Foster.
Yeah.
He refed game 4. We should be clear of him till next round.
I was trying to find somebody. Who's that lady? Molly something. I think she does first. I think she does first take, right?
Yeah, Molly. Yeah.
Molly
I'm trying to see if I can find that tweet. See what she said perfectly, but the gist of it was shouldn't the NBA be firing refs for doing a bad job? Like,
Yeah.
like
There
I could get all into that. That's
some sort of reprimand. Like I get that we should just like respect, at the beginning of the game they tell you the refs' names or the umpires' names in a baseball game. That or the NFL ref who actually talks to you. Like I guess we know those guys, the white caps names, but we shouldn't have to know NBA refs' names. Like we shouldn't have to know them at all. Like aside from the fact that they're told to us at the beginning of the game, and you're like, okay, these are the refs' names. You're like, okay, those are the refs' names. It shouldn't be like, oh God, it's Kane Fitzgerald, it's Scott Foster, it's Ed
Tony Brothers.
It shouldn't be that way. The only sport where you could, I guess, really have that kind of thing is football, where the guy's actually talking to you. Oh man, it's Jerome Boger, it's Clete Blakeman, but that makes sense because they actually talk to us. The only times we hear the NBA ref is okay, we're gonna see if this determines for a flagrant foul. Thank you, Zach Zarba. That's the only reason that I need to know your name.
Right.
And Scott Foster has stats about him. The dude doesn't play the game. He has stats about him. That's how crazy this stuff is.
Yeah.
He's a referee.
I'm with you 100%. And the thing is they always use that. They always use that whole. The referees can't be talked to. They can't be done because why in this world that we live in today, with all the media, all the things that goes on, why isn't it that they bring them out and let us say, hey, that call in the third quarter that changed, or the fourth quarter at the end when you didn't call that foul when John Morant went to the thing in game 3, was it, and they lost, or all those kind of things. Why didn't you make that call? Give us a chance to hear it from him. But otherwise, like you said, we don't get nothing ever. They make these bad calls. They make a ton of them. And
run up out of there.
Yeah, and what do we get for it? Like, what do we get out of it? The NBA giving us a couple of lines here and there about it was within the rules or whatever, No, come on. Some of this stuff is beyond belief, but we could literally have a whole show talking about that.
Yeah.
But let's go to Milwaukee, Chicago, because we talked a little bit about it and the fact that Middleton is out, and I don't think that's gonna affect this series though. I'm pretty sure they could take care of Chicago, but will they get out of the next round?
If he's not healthy for Boston, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really hard, especially with Boston having home court advantage. That series probably starts this weekend, so they better hope that if Middleton misses any time, it's just games 1 and 2 in Boston where maybe you can split without him. But even if you're down 0-2, they say the series doesn't start until someone takes a road game.
Right.
So if you can defend home court and get Middleton back, maybe you can make it a best-of-3 series.
I give it 4-2 Boston. Without Middleton, I give it 4-2.
So you have Boston going to the finals pretty outright then.
Yeah, I can't see how there's no other team in the East. I mean, Miami's so what do you call it? Temperamental. you could hurt somebody's feelings. Jimmy Butler will get his feelings hurt, and then he'll destroy the next 2 games on purpose. So, like, you really don't know with them. And they're just not as consistent and as good as I think Boston is right now. They're
Grizzlies are
playing.
1-11 right now. They really might fall to this series. Game 6 going back to Minnesota. I can't see them winning 2 in a row if they lose this game at home.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Which just surprised me. I do not want to see Timberwolves versus Warriors, unfortunately. No, I mean I respect the Timberwolves. I like the makeup. I like what Coach Chris Finch has done. But I don't want to see them play the Warriors. I would much rather see the Grizzlies.
So, do we even have to talk about the Nuggets Warriors, or can we just?
No, for your sake, we can let that go. I think for the sake of the series, not even a lot of Nuggets fans, I don't think, would have predicted it would have gone too much differently without Murray and without Porter, or maybe even at all. So, like, for the sake of that, everything's going as expected. It's all going as planned. I don't think – I think, Paul, maybe you even thought of a sweep, but in 5 sounds fine, right?
No, yeah, I gave them actually the first game at home. I figured they'd come back pumped. Joker would do his thing. They would get that one game, and then the Warriors would close it out. So it just kind of flipped a little bit from what I thought. But I mean, I don't know if I could see them going into Golden State tomorrow and stealing that one at all. I mean, I don't know. They would have to have a spectacular game from a bunch of those guys again, like Monte, who had that game in that a great game. What do you have? 20-some points, I think, or 20 points, something like that. But he doesn't have those games all the time, and he's not capable of doing that all the time. So it's almost like you go, oh shit, there was that game. So that means next one, can we get that? Can
5
we get
points.
That yeah, can we get that again? And the same with Barton, who
Get that big 3.
Again, I can go on for a whole show too on that.
Yeah.
That dude and how, I mean, he is what he is. When you, I've always said, when you're in the 7th year, past your 7th year, you are who you are.
Yeah.
You're not going to get no better. You're not going to spectacular become a superstar if you're not. You are who you are. You played long enough that you're setting your roles, and he tries to defy that odds, and he wants to be bigger and better than he is. And sometimes, a lot of times, most times, that gets us in trouble. Now, in saying that also allowed him to hit that shot because he thinks he can hit it. So, every now and then, the sun shines on a, never mind. But I just don't see them pulling that off as much as I would love to say it, and as much as I would love to see it even more, because going back to Denver for game 6 would just be, I think Joker would get a triple-double in the 40s type of game.
That's what he's gonna need tomorrow.
I don't know if he can get that. I mean, I think he'll have a good game, but I don't know.
50s kind of game tomorrow.
Yeah, but he also needs still them guys to do something, and I just don't think they have that in them right now.
I think they just need to. They need to go to Jokic early and tell him to get in the block. I know he hit the 3 and like to go out the drill, but against Draymond, he needs to get in that block to get him out, get him in foul trouble, get him out that game. That offense, whereas offense don't run as smooth when Draymond is out.
Look, I've never understood why when you have Jokic, who can do all the things he can do, and let's be serious, you watch this game, what have the Warriors done to him every time he touches the ball? They play a box. They're standing there with their 4 guys like this, and as soon as he catches the ball, they just move in every single time. Why, beyond my belief, do you not post Jokic up on this side and clear it? Clear the floor.
Yep.
All your guys over here, and then you got one-on-one all the time. Now, sure, they're going to try to double him right away, but you're trying to double Jokic with that much time, you're going to get beat. He's going to find the open man, or he's going to make the bucket. So I would literally do what you said. I would post him up every time, but on a singular thing. Clear everybody out over there and just let them go one-on-one. And when they try to double and they start to double, let them pick them apart. But they won't do that because that's not how basketball is played anymore, right? So, but I don't know. I think we've got a guy like him who can be as dominant as he can on a team like the Warriors, who have nobody who can guard him. Clear it out. Let him do his job. Let him take control. Let him go over, and he will have that 50. He will get that 50 triple double if you did that, because he would have the ball 100 times in possession of that game that way, right? Like, you have to get the Jordan rules, right? You get the ball in your hand to shoot that much, you're going to make that many points, right? So we've hit those. We hit those. Ooh, Minnesota up by 9.
Yep.
Yeah, Memphis in trouble.
Ooh, okay. How about Dallas? On the Mavericks?
I hope Devin Booker's healthy, because, man, that Mavericks Sun series will be fun. That's all I can say. Luka's awesome. Luka is I believe Nick Wright of First Things First FS1 said this, but Luka, for having played a total of 16 total playoff games, 14 against the Clippers and 2 in this series against Utah, he is the second most consistently greatest playoff performer of the past decade to only LeBron James. That's what his numbers say of how good he has been in the playoffs. And that's with 14 of 16 games being guarded by Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Mm-hmm. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
He is. And we can sit here and we can talk about that, because it's a fact, right? The guy is an incredible guy who's big enough to dominate anybody they put on him. You know, so if you put a real big guy on him to match him, he's going to go right by him. And you put a smaller guy on him, he just destroys him. Like, the guy is a different breed. But let me switch that up and say, basically, did the Jazz just tank this? I mean, we just found out that Mitchell's nothing wrong. I mean, that they could see with his hamstring, but yet it hurts, right? And it did it. And to me, that's that old, you're getting your ass beat all the time. Yeah, my hamstring hurts, right?
Yeah, I'm
gonna go sit down because my hamstring hurts, you know. All you guys who ain't doing nothing, right? I mean, over and over. And then before the series even started, we heard all the talk about the coach maybe becoming the Lakers' next coach. Where could he go? He might go over here. Well, he had a job. They were going to the playoffs. They were actually what seed are they? 3? Are they the 3 or no? Wait, 4, 5. They're 5, right?
5.
Utah's 5.
Yeah. So you're still 5. So that's. I mean, that's less than what they wanted to be this year, of course, but that's still not a bad seed, right? You did okay, and they're coming into the playoffs, but that's all we're hearing, and we're hearing about all the places where Donovan Mitchell wants to go next.
Yeah, the Knicks had their management sitting courtside, and Utah wasn't too happy about that.
Right, you got him, you know, loving New York. I know this is crazy as could be, but he has talked a lot about Orlando. You know, he has a fascination with Orlando, and there are places he can go. But why are you talking about it? You're going to the playoffs. Why are we even hearing about where you want to go or where you might end up? Like, to me, it was a given when this thing started. Utah wasn't going nowhere. You don't want to win a championship when all you guys are thinking about is that. You don't want to win the championship with each other. That's just the way it is. And you know how bad he wanted to get away from Gobert, right? I mean, it's. So to me, this is a win of the Mavericks warming up for the next round.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Utah wasn't here. Utah wasn't here to win this series. They're not here to do it. They're not going to do it. And I believe they're going to fully rebuild, and they'll keep Gobert, and they'll try to rebuild around him. That's what I think.
I don't know how far you're getting rebuilding around Rudy Gobert, but
I know.
I guess crazy that is. Ainge and Justin Zanuck's problem to worry about. Dwayne Wade.
He's had a lot of how do you call it? Those backdoor conversations with who was it to come to Utah? Oh, sending Donovan Mitchell to Miami. There's been a lot of talk that he has been talking with the Utah brass and the Miami brass, and that could be a deal they put together this summer. Again, though,
with Oladipo, you know, Donovan Mitchell just is a better player than Oladipo. So
yeah, but again, why is all this being talked about? Like, you're going into a playoff series, damn it! Don't even get with me on this stuff. You know, We'll talk about this later.
You want to know why it's being talked about? Because guys like Donovan Mitchell aren't right for Utah. It's nothing about Mitchell. It's the Utah factor. If Donovan Mitchell was on any other team, even Oklahoma City, it wouldn't be this way. It's just the Utah factor.
Where should he go? Where's his best spot? Lamar?
If that Heat thing was true, I like that. That'd be a good fit.
That is a good fit. You know, I know he likes the idea of New York, and I think that he would be, he would be a good number one guy in New York. But I'll throw this out there. I think he would be a good fit next to Joel Embiid if Daryl doesn't want to give James that max.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would look good. I think he would be a good Sixer. Not that I don't think that he has his problems in the playoffs. I think he does. I think he's a very streaky-ish player, not like a streaky shooter kind of player, but just like a streaky-ish kind of like star player. I'm not sure if he'll ever be like a superstar-ish guy either, but I would take him. I think he would look good next to Joel Embiid, and if he needs a center to play with, I think he would much rather have a Joel than a Rudy Gobert. But that's just me.
I think 100%. And I think wherever he goes, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to make that team much better because he ain't going to like. Let's face it, he won't go to Orlando. So wherever he goes is going to be someplace where it's going to bolster them to a position for sure. Because the Knicks, as unadjusted as the Knicks are, if they get him and they get rid of Tibbs, then they could actually be something too. They had a good team. In my opinion, Tibbs blew it. He's past his time in the NBA. He still plays and tries to play a different game, and he doesn't even have the players to play the game he likes to play. He wants to be that full defensive thing, and this run down and shoot threes isn't in his vocabulary ever. So the game is kind of going past him, I think. So he's another one of those coaches that I think should find his way out of New York, and I think they could be a good team.
Tibbs needs to go. I don't want to see him coaching any more basketball teams. I think he's run his course. There's a chance. If the Sixers lose this series, Doc's run his course too, and that's not with the current program. That's like he should no longer be a coach. But that's just me.
Yeah, probably. It's time for ESPN, right? Go talk to us about
Doc would be great for TV. His voice is a little raspy, but he'd be great for TV.
I think both of them would because they have knowledge. We know they got the knowledge. It's just the game is getting away from them. So yeah, it probably is time for that. Is there any series that we missed here? What's this at now? 85-72 Minnesota. End of the third. Oh, wow.
His jaw just exploded on the guy.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that'll wake him up.
Hopefully, but they're still down 11 with a quarter to go, so they'll be lucky.
Wow.
That was very nice, though. Honestly, it could have been called a charge.
Yeah, he was outside the circle. Look. Maybe he was moving the upper body, but great play anyway right there. But they're going to need to do a whole lot of that because this game's getting out of the hand. But did we miss anybody? See, we had
we covered everybody, I believe.
Miami, the Nets, the Hawks. So yeah, we got all of them in there, man. Is it going to go any different in this next round? Are we going to find upsets in the next round before we get that going? Or are things going to go as we predict them to be? We're going to see the Warriors. We're going to see the Suns in the finals. We're going to see.
Right now, I'll say I might,
Celtics.
I might hard overhead choose the Grizzlies if they somehow find their way past the series. I might take them to beat the Warriors, but that's just me.
Nice.
I'll probably, if Chris Middleton's healthy, I'll probably take the Bucks to beat the Celtics too. Might also be a little hard overhead talking, but hey, I'll find some reasons to make it some head talking too, instead of just
Watch out, man. That heart will get you every time. Trust me. Oh my God, that heart has killed me over these playoffs. I don't know how many games I picked Denver to. They're going to get this one. They're going to get this one. The heart will kick your ass. Let me tell you. Lamar, you see anything happening in the second round?
That could be a little bit more interesting, more evenly matched teams, but I just wish the injuries didn't hit, man. It's unfortunate you got Devin Booker out, 2 to 3 weeks. And you know them hamstrings are touchy. You would think you're okay then.
Oh, even if he comes back, those are the
Yeah.
kind of things that get you again. The very next play, you're going up for a dunk, and you're done again
Perhaps
for 2
again,
more weeks. Yeah, so I don't see him being too big of a factor throughout the remaining of this myself. His is actually a legit injury, Mr. Donovan Mitchell. But okay, man. So if you guys want to, man, let's throw out a final word. Anybody got something to say? Go ahead, Liam, man. Tell us about them Sixers and tell us what you really, really think.
My last word is 3 simple words. Trust the process.
I'm going to put that across the screen right there when you said that. Watch. Yeah, okay. That's been how long? Okay. Lamar?
Really happy to see about Brandon Ingram playing well and taking this game to the next level.
That's who we missed.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That is who we missed right there, the Pelicans. And you are 100% right on that. And I will go the same way. I was actually talking about him a lot today. And those 3 straight 30-point games, he had a bad first game, and I think that was because, you come in with those jitters and things like that. But if you guys remember, at the end of the season there, the Pelicans were playing damn good basketball. And that's why I picked him to win those playing games and get in, because at the time, I mean, they're just playing really good basketball, and they haven't stopped yet, and without Booker and them playing the way they are, and watching Ingram get under Chris Paul's skin is, to me, just great. I love it. I love every bit of it.
Alvarado getting under Chris Paul's skin too. I like that little kid.
Both of them. I mean,
I love Herbert Jones. I love Herbert.
It's so great, though, isn't it? Because Chris Paul is such a veteran, such a player that you hardly ever see him get rattled. And we've seen it. And if they keep doing this, man, the Pelicans are going to take it down. But that's why I'm with you. My last word be on Ingram. I think he's taking another step right now. And if the Pelicans get Zion, maybe he wants to stay. I don't know where he's going to end up, but if he ends up staying there and they end up grabbing somebody else too, that could be a team next year that makes a whole lot of noise. So they're doing the right things there, and that's what I would say too. Thank you, Nuggets, for an okay year. I'm going to throw that in, since probably the next time we talk, they won't be around for the playoffs. They'll be watching the rest of it. So thank you, Nuggets. As we always say, next year, right? Next year. It's about all. Trust the process.
Is that what they always say in Denver? Is that what they always say?
I'm pretty sure that's about 29 teams every year. They get to say next year, but yeah.
All right, well, yeah. Since your Nuggets are fried chicken nuggets this series, what's your favorite dipping sauce, Paul?
I'm a plain guy, man.
You eat your nuggets plain.
I'm a plain nugget, man. I gotta say it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Lamar, get at this guy. That is a ridiculous statement.
I can't help it, man. There's nothing that I'm not a big sauce guy.
Not even ketchup. Like I was expecting maybe a little ranch, maybe a little honey. Not even ketchup.
I can't take ranch. I can't take ketchup. Maybe some sort of a hot sauce. I would, maybe.
Yeah, that's something. Plain chicken nuggets.
But usually it's plain, man.
I think I just found the reason why every single year must be the Nuggets year. You put a jinx on them by not dipping your nuggets in anything. Yep, you're the reason. You're the reason you can't have nice things in Denver.
Well, I find that to be true. So I've tried every shirt that I have. I've tried every hat that I have. And so it must be my fault. I'm not picking the right damn combination somewhere. But well, man, it was great, guys. Again, we always take too long to do this stuff, man. Let's get back at it again, because by the next time we get back at it, we're going to know the second round, I'm sure. They'll be set up and ready to go. And we might even, like you said, we might even see a second round game, Boston and Milwaukee, right? So let's do this again. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for doing it. It was fun once again. And we will see you guys next week.
Sounds good. Take it easy.